Esselamu Aleyküm ve Rahmetullah. Euzu billahi mineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbena efrig aleyna sabran ve sebbit akdamana ve ensurna alel kavmil kafirin. Rabbi cealni mukimes salati ve min zürriyeti. Rabbena ve tekabbel dua. Rabbena efrig aleyna sabran ve teveffena müslimin. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم نور قلوبنا بنور الايمان والقران والاسلام وبمعرفتك ان شاء الله لا حول ولا قوه الا بالله العلي العظيم وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. Amen. We have been studying the story of Dawood, Talut, and Jalut. They make a good rhyme, maybe just to make it rhyme. They are names. We don't care who they are in physical being, but we know that Dawood is presented to us in the Quran as the person, as one of the people who were inspired and educated, prepared by God in order to receive the message of God, to be ready to receive the message of God and deliver it to the people and practice it in his own life as a teacher. So what the prophets have done in their practical life, as it is narrated in the Quran, means to us that this is a real life experience. We will go through the same stages or similar stages, and we will take their exemplary life as a source of lesson, as a source of guide for us. That is the purpose of sending the messengers, appointing the messengers. Of course, the criterion God uses to select who is the most appropriate person to receive the message and to be worth training, educating, that's up to him, up to God. He is appointing it. Not according to our criteria that this person deserves to be appointed as a prophet, or I deserve to be appointed as a prophet. We cannot pass judgment about anything concerning this matter, because this matter is left to God's decision, his conditions. We cannot say anything. We don't know who deserves what. The best example we have seen in this, the prophet of the people, or the prophet who was sent to the certain people, assigned Talut as the commander-in-chief to lead them to fight against Jalut. Somebody must be a tyrant, and they must have driven them away from their homeland and harmed them a lot. That is why the people were really looking for an excuse to, or a reason to fight against Jalut, to get their rights back, which is understandable. Now, the people said, oh, are you appointing Talut as a commander-in-chief? He doesn't understand anything. He's a poor guy. He's nobody in the society. But one of the nobles of this community must be the commander-in-chief and lead us. How can we follow this peasant or shepherd? I mean, story says he was a shepherd, but it's just guessing. The Quran doesn't say anything. And the prophet of these people says, look, he is appointed by God, first of all, but of course we need some sort of reasonable explanation for it. For example, not necessarily that in order to be appointed as a messenger, we have to use our criterion, but at the same time, for example, if a messenger tries to cheat people, tell a lie, I will say, this person claims to be appointed by God, but it doesn't really fit at all. That's why the prophets must have some qualities after they are being appointed in order to demonstrate that they are loyal. First of all, they have the capacity to convey the message, although we didn't know. In the case of the Prophet Muhammad, it was so obvious. In the case of Jesus, it was so obvious because he was a baby when he claimed that, or not claimed, he started speaking when he was in the cradle. I am appointed as a prophet. Of course, he was at the time will mature up and he will start the mission. But as a proof of his mother's innocence, honesty, he was given the miracle, so the miracle of speaking and witnessing that his mother is an innocent, pure lady. So that was in the case of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. He was just a shepherd before he was appointed as a prophet. No one was expecting him to be a prophet. He was an honest man. Apart from this, he was respected for his honesty in the community. But apart from this, according to their criteria, he didn't have any qualifications to be the leader of that community. The same case like Talut. But when he started the mission, he proved to be the best option God has chosen. He was honest, he was consistent, he was loyal to his message, he practiced it, and he was delivering the message in a convincing way, and he was standing behind the message and practicing it in his life and leading the people according to the revelation he received. That is why we found that in Talut's evidence as the prophet of that those people stated them, look, he is well prepared to be and well built, well prepared to be the commander-in-chief of the army, and he can lead you. And also he was given a chest, tabut. And in the chest, we studied this last week, in the chest there is serenity, peace, tranquility. you will find tranquility. Of course, you cannot say that tranquility is the piece of a paper or piece of a wood or stone or something. Tranquility is a state of soul of the people, is a psychological matter. So we cannot say in the chest, oh, I've seen the tranquility on the corner or the right corner, left top, whatever. But it was obvious that tranquility will come from something else that the chest has in it. What is that? Remnants of the previous Moses and Harun. It means previous prophets. What does it mean? It doesn't really mean that it only belongs to this case. It is a general message for us. We have to know that every prophet follows the message of the previous prophet without contradicting to it fundamentally. But if there is a distortion, and meddling up with the original message by human hands, he was correcting. Every prophet corrects it, puts it in an upright position, and also updates the practical matters. That is important. Look, fundamental belief foundations don't need to be updated, but evidence for the belief foundations needs to be updated because human beings are improving their perception of the universe, studying, discovering more and more. And the evidence must be taken from universe, because as far as we understand, human nature never changes. And reality of the order of the universe never changes. But human discoveries keep changing, especially lately. We are witnessing, this generation is witnessing, I don't know what will happen to during the next generations. I don't know. But this generation, we, from my childhood until now, I mean, revolution upon revolution upon revolution took place in human discovery of the order of the universe. For the first time, I was shocked to see that TV, something like that, was possible within the order of the universe. There was, in the city I was born, there was a shop selling devices, technological devices. And this shop demonstrated the color TV first time after black and white. Of course, black and white also was very, very rare and very expensive. So, color TV, and he put it on the shop window, on their windows. The people were really gathering in front of the shop window, watching it in an by amazed faces. Wow, different colors. Exactly, looks like the same man, not black and white. Exactly, real man. Anyways, it is so developing. We have to understand that the fundamentals of the belief never change, but evidence for the fundamentals of the belief to demonstrate it to human understanding according to the level of discoveries of the reality of the universe in their time always are updated. The people should be very careful about it. Fundamentals are the same, but updating the evidence is a completely different matter. That is why there is a difference between Torah and the Quran, especially as far as belief in the hereafter is concerned, as far as belief in dreams are concerned. There is a great difference between the Quran and Torah tradition. Emphasis, and as the evidence becomes much and much clearer to human minds through their own experiences, emphasis on the belief in the hereafter is increasing or has increased. That's why the Quran is full of news about hereafter. But on the contrary, it is less in Torah tradition. That is one side of it. Another side, practical rules, administrating rules, which are legislations concerning human relationship, the world relationship, the universe relationship, animals, human animals and plants and other things are concerned, and also administration of a social order changes according to the level of the capacity of the people as they develop their experience with life. For example, subdivisions of the sciences are increasing every generation. Subdivisions. It means that people, the human beings, are learning more and more as they discover the reality of the reality of the order of the universe, and also they become aware of the reality as it appears in the universe more and more. So their relationship between them becomes more and more detailed and also improved. So the Sharia rules, as they are well known, it means legislative rules in the Quran, developed, improved, updated according to the requirements of the people who are going to be students of the Quran. That, in our subject, the Dawud's example, or Talut's example, remnants of the Torah and, Moses and Aaron means every prophet has the remnants of the previous prophets. That's why we find in the Quran many remnants of Torah narrations. Not exactly the same, but somehow related to them. And the subject is the same subject, but the way it is presented changes. Maybe the explanation of that remnants changed because of the improvement of the society, of understanding the reality of the universe, or human need changed, life conditions changed. So they become aware of some aspects that the previous nation, previous people were not aware of them. That is another reality. We shouldn't be surprised that during the time of previous prophets, certain things may be prohibited or certain things may be ordered, but we see that the Quran is abrogating them, saying, no, this is not for you. This is for the people who were living in their own conditions, and we may know, we may not know, but the Creator knows that for you, the regulations will be this. That means that we have to understand God is not changing his mind. Once he says, this is bad, another time he says, no, this is not that bad. We can do it. Or it is good now. I understood that it wasn't that bad. Not like this at all. We have to understand this. Why the prophetic tradition follows each other, supports each other, confirms each other, but at the same time, the way it is presented is continuously changing, improving, according to the requirements and living conditions of the community the message was sent. Now we have to pay attention to the 20th and onwards, now the 20th, I'm sorry, 6th, 7th century onwards. The Quran says the society is soon going to be aware of with each other. The means of communication will improve soon, and everyone will become aware of what is going on in other life conditions, in the living conditions of other communities, societies. Then they will start exchanging their experiences. For example, we find out that a new gadget, new device was discovered and made it available, manufactured. We see them in the world everywhere, but some people may get it, may not get it because of their financial capacity. That is another matter. For example, if a country is a rich country, most of the people get that device. But if a country is poor, again, most of the people don't get this device. It doesn't mean that they were not aware of it. They were, but they didn't have the means to get it, to buy it, because it is possible now to get everything from everywhere in the world. Why am I telling all this? It attracts my attention that the universe became like a town. They call it, not the universe, I'm sorry, the world, the humanity, human world, human life on earth became like a town. Maybe soon, maybe is already nowadays with the internet, became like a village, same neighborhood. On the spot, you get the news from the east, from the west at the same time, north, south at the same time, wherever you are. That means the human race is united, and experience of life is united by everyone. So as far as the wisdom in sending the prophet is concerned, now there will be no need to send two prophets. One of them is in Japan, the other one is in America, for example, American continent. Why? The American continent is aware of what is going on in Japan at the same time, and Japan is the people in Japan, the Japanese people are aware of what is going on in America. Why should there be two messages, different messages, because the living conditions are almost the same. Generally speaking, of course. That is why the Quran says the Prophet Muhammad is the seal of the prophethood. That means that's it. The human being can share it all together, share the message of the Quran all together at the same time. It is interesting to notice this. It is not a claim that this is the last prophet for no reason. There is a reason for it. There is a reason, and that the people will not need, although the guidances change, but the message is, there is no need to bring more evidence, because it is another subject that is not related to our Wednesday discussion. It is related to our Monday discussion. That is why the Quran speaks always in general terms with a few exceptions. This few exception is also understood that, yeah, there may be no change there. For example, getting married with your mom, with your sister, is prohibited. Whatever you discover from the universe, you will not get any evidence that, no, you can get married with your mom. You can get married with your sister. So these kind of matters are stated with specific way of explaining or presenting, specific language. Do not get married with your sister, with your mother. That's it. But as far as the belief foundations are concerned, yes, there is an hereafter, but the evidences are so simple and fundamental. It means basic evidence. For example, if you want to see the evidence of the resurrection, then look at the spring as the plants and animals are growing, reviving, and look at winter, they are dead. And next spring, they are again given life. In general, details, you can study the universe and see how dead plants become alive, how a cell develops into a new plant, new animal, or a cell. So you can study, find out DNA's structure, whatever it is, and how it is coded, etc. Is an evidence of what is going on, what will happen to this cell if it has the opportunity within the life conditions of this universe, and when it develops, it will be such and such in a such and such situation. Now you can go to the details. That is why the Quran speaks in general terms, in basic general terms. Again, we should understand this. That is why this news that the tabut, or the chest, has in it the remnants of the, I will generalize it, previous messenger, the messages of the previous messengers, previous prophets. Of course, the name is symbolic here, Moses and Aaron, because it means previous prophets. So the peace, tranquility is in the chest, means in the remnants of the previous prophets, you can find there are the remnants of the previous prophets in it. So the message in these remnants is the source of tranquility. It means human soul will settle down. These are, I know we mentioned in general last week, but these are very important points for me. I'm just sharing with them. So if you have any questions about it, any questions about what we have talked so far, please raise your question, raise your concern, objections, if you like, if you have, or comments. Otherwise, I will go to the verse. What is the number of the verse? Let me see. From Baqarah 249. So if you have any concerns, please go ahead. Otherwise, okay, I will go and read the verse we are going to study today. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فلما فصل طالوت بالجنود قال إن الله مبتليكم بنهر فمن شرب منه فليس مني ومن لم يطعمه فإنه مني إلا من استغرق من if I confuse with it إلا من اغترف. Why do I keep saying it's okay? My printing is small. Again, إلا من اغترف غرفة بيده فشربوا منه إلا قليلا منهم فلما جاوزه هو والذين آمنوا معه قالوا لا طاقة لنا اليوم بجالوت وجنوده قال الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو الله كم من فئة قليلة غلبت فئة كثيرة بإذن الله الله والله مع الصابرين. Now, please, can one of you read the translation? So I have the presenters in a very small print, so I prefer you to read it because I don't see the page on the screen. I have the presenter's page with me. So if somebody reads it, I will be very pleased, inshallah.
When Talut set out with his forces, he said to them, God will test you with a river. Anyone who drinks from it will not belong with me, but anyone who refrains from tasting it will belong with me. But he who shall scoop up but a single handful is forgiven. But he who shall scoop up but a single handful is forgiven. But they all drank to their full from it, except for a few. When he crossed it with those who had kept faith, they said, we have no strength today against Goliath and his warriors. But those who knew that they were going to meet their Lord said, how often a small force has defeated a large army with God's permission. How often a small force has defeated a large army with God's permission. God is with those who are steadfast.
Thank you very much for this patient, articulated reading. I loved it. I could follow phrase by phrase, word by word, phrase by phrase. Alhamdulillah. Thank you. So now, Talut, we can imagine we are in the army, soldiers, fighting against Goliath. Goliath is Jalut, is the one who expelled us from our homeland. Okay. It is strange, but I don't think anyone was expelled from his homeland among us. Maybe exceptionally somebody ran away from a political tyrant in his homeland. It's different case, exceptional case. Now, most of you are born here, and you are not expelled from your land, so why would you bother to fight with the one who has taken your property? But these are deep matters. These are very important matters. Are we sure that we are not expelled our own homeland? Our real humanity. We are expelled. I feel I am expelled from my humanity by forcefully imposing on me secular education. My feelings have gone away from their homeland. My mind has been taken away from its homeland. My spirit is put in a secular setting, and I cannot really regain it easily unless I go through some stages. That is why Talut said, God will test you with a river. What is river? They are guessing that, the scholars are guessing that if the test is with a river, that means river, and therefore water is very important. Now, I'll come to my term, living terms. What is very important for me? To sustain my life? Yeah. But it is not the area, not the field that I am expelled from my homeland. It means my human reality. Wherever I am, I can eat what I could have eaten, what I am eating right now here. But what is essential for me? Not to distort my human reality, the reality of my soul. The soul within me is thirsty to get to know his origin of existence, to get to know his origin of life, his origin of feelings, to get to know where he can satisfy his feelings, expectations of his feelings. They say, yes, you can satisfy from nature. Until you die, you will discover to produce more, to eat more, and die. To enjoy yourself, eat and drink and enjoy yourself. and get the best house, the largest house, okay, the best running car on special treatment in hotels, etc. But my feelings say, this is not my home. My home is where I feel secure forever, not a temporary base. I hate transience. I hate temporariness. I am deprived of my home. In order to gain this, there is a cost. What is that? There will be a river. There will be many, many obstacles put in front of my path, my way to reach my source of existence, to get to know him and feel secure. The future of my life eternally. I don't want transience. I don't want temporary happiness. I am happy today, tomorrow I will be executed. Now, as soon as I know that I'm going to be executed tomorrow, today you may give me a lot of delicious food and the best car to run and whatever I love. I am imposed by this society, by the secular civilization. Then I will say tomorrow is the day to be executed. How can I enjoy them? Try yourself. Try on your own life, own self. Think really you are going to be executed tomorrow. How do you feel now? Which kind of pleasure you take from anything? I don't. My imagination never allows that will happen to me. I say, it shouldn't happen. The pleasures must be with me, but eternally, with no end. That's what my feelings are telling me. So I'm sure you are human beings and you may have the same feelings. That is extremely important. Why? Because we have to be aware that we are forced into a, if you like, in quote unquote, non-natural life conditions. And it is very costly. I have to work hard in order to satisfy my necessary needs, but most of the necessary needs are imposed on me by the culture in which I live, and I'm not aware of it. I say, life is hard. It is made hard by artificial means, not the Creator made the life hard to live. You look after a garden for a while, maybe a few years, work on it, and the trees grow, that's it. You don't have to do anything. Animals graze on it. Rains comes, don't worry. And you just enjoy yourself. Put some plants, sow some plants, and they will grow. But if you want to grow more than you need, and sell it, get money, and buy the things that are imposed on you by the secular civilizations, you have to work day and night, summer and winter. Yeah. Anyways, it doesn't mean that everybody is going to be a farmer. Of course, the farmers need shoes, for example. Some of us will make shoes. And Farmers also need some books to read. Of course, some of us must work in a printing machine, and some of us must study and learn and prepare the necessary knowledge to the people and publish the book and sell it. And of course, these are the means. I'm talking about the artificial means that we have to work for them hard, and we don't have time left to study my reality, especially the guidance from my Creator. Most of us don't. I believe that the people mostly are not aware of it. They take it for granted that reality is this. But my soul tells me, when I listen to it with no bias, tells me that really I am suffering from artificial factors and I have to struggle now, strive now. It is very difficult. The weather is hot, let's assume. Maybe the case in that story, it's a desert place and the army is thirsty and there's a river, and this strange guy, Talut, says, anyone who drinks from it will not belong with me. Wow. I'm thirsty, man, I have to drink. It is not, don't confuse that. It is deprivation of our real needs. It is not it is, by definition, it cannot be. Otherwise, God will be contradicting himself by saying, I created thirst for you, and I created water for you, and you shouldn't drink it. No, 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 no. It means we have to be selective. What is necessary, what is not necessary, etc. And if we realize that this is not necessary, for example, following the fashion is not necessary. Following certain things, I don't want to mention that the fashion is so obvious. I don't know, it depends on people's needs. And we have to think, do I have to? Do I have to? Yeah. I mean, beauty is okay, but spending all your money on clothing, for example, and the shoes, you know that the people, you don't, I'm sure you don't, but generally the people have at least 10, 20 pairs of shoes. I know from my life experience, or the things that I do, I know how the people are living, some of them, not all, of course. We understand that we need shoes, but it doesn't mean that 20 different colors of shoes, different kinds of shoes, but let's say one for winter, one for summer. Yeah, somehow. But if you want to make a list of the kinds of shoes in this society now, I don't know how the number will be. I don't know. I never bothered to list them down. Sports shoes, walking shoes, climbing shoes. I don't know. So shoes for ice skating, shoes for, I don't know, whatever they are. So anyone who drinks from it will not belong with me. It means not anything you follow apart from your real needs of your soul will, and this person will be not with Talut. It means they wouldn't defeat, they won't be able to join the army who defeated the arch enemy, Jalut. Or our arch enemy of this age is being worldly, not living in the world, but being worldly. It means concerns are confined to worldly expectations only, with no opening to the eternal life, with no aspect which looks to the eternal life. That is Jalut. We have to defeat Jalut. We have to struggle hard, maybe at the expense of going against the values of the existing society in which we live. It doesn't mean that we will have a physical conflict with them, but we will be having an ideological conflict with them. If you like, we will be having political conflict with them. Politics of the administration, we say it shouldn't be like this, must be like this. So we have to be consistent within our own real human values. This is not an easy job. This is not an easy thing to do. We are all dealing with the world. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't live in this world, but we should always be conscious of the extension which goes into eternity in the actions, every actions that we do, every choice that we make. We have to be extremely careful. We shouldn't be carried away by the values of the society. That is the arch enemy. Now, if you like, I'm not talking about the market of the merchandises, but in the market of human society, it means what is commonly accepted among the people of this society. We see that worldly concerns comes first. Now, it doesn't mean that we should leave the world behind, but we have to use the world in order to reach our homeland, which means where our spirit belongs to. Our spirit, our soul, belongs to God, the Creator. I have to seek to reach the Creator. I have to always connect my actions that I do in this world to the Creator. Try to educate myself in order to be able to see deeper and deeper layers of connection to my Creator. Otherwise, I will be taken away by the river, by drinking it. It means losing my hope to win the war against the arch enemy of secularism. Nowadays, secularist concerns, this is called in the Quranic language, Ahl Dunya, following the word, Hayat Dunya. And the Quran keeps saying, وَالْآخِرَةُ خَيْرُ وَأَبْقَى. And the next creation, the end of this world, is much better and permanent. خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى. And permanent. This word is transient. Watch out and be extremely careful. So, this verse, makes me, every phrase, we need to study one class. Taste with a river is, we have to spend at least 1 hour only on this. Anyone who drinks from it will not belong with the commander-in-chief appointed by the prophet. in fact, appointed by God, because prophet is inspired by God, and then the prophet appoints it. Otherwise, the prophets don't do anything without getting the instruction from God. By definition, prophet means this, does everything according to the instruction they receive from God. Now, but anyone who refrains from tasting it, look at this, tasting it. Wow. You know how fine tuning is? Not only drinking, tasting it. Let me be a little bit early tonight. It means forget about the akhirah. Enjoy it with my friends. You know, there is no need to single out, go against the flow of the society. A little bit be with them, you know. If they are doing this and giving priority to this, I would do the same thing. If they are buying all these, or everybody is buying into, why should I buy, etc., etc., etc. Everybody is doing this, and what should I do, what shouldn't I do, etc. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't entertain ourselves. Real entertainment is any kind of entertainment which is connected, attached to our eternal life. It means to our source of existence, God. Trying to see it. Of course, you eat the best food that you have, but it doesn't mean that you have to go to the most expensive restaurant and as a young person able to cook himself or herself and prepare and clean dishes. You use it, you don't know how they are in a restaurant, so you cannot guarantee anything. Something is going behind the curtains. Yeah, we don't know. Okay, we shouldn't have a bad intention about people, yes, but at the same time, we cannot guarantee it. So rather than doing that and going to a restaurant which is maybe lit up with dim, colorful lights, etc. And then the people come there speaking with high language as they think it is high, and paying maybe 100 times more than the food they served because of the atmosphere, which is totally artificial, full of hypocrisy, and the people who serve there, the waitress or waitress, uses a flattery language. I hate it. And I say, why shouldn't I go and get my food from the kitchen? I am healthy enough, powerful enough, why shouldn't I do it? But if you go to the restaurant, you have to sit and wait for being served. What? I can't do it. Why should I be served? I can do it. So if it is a matter of time, well, of course you can cook at home even quicker. It takes less time instead of going out of the house and going to the restaurant, waiting there and getting food ready, etc., etc. I'm talking about this, if you like. I mean, I don't know what the criterion is for this, but luxurious restaurant and getting the food. Why should you? Let me taste it once, you know, if it happens or not. Let me do it on once. Let's go. This is a very practical example. I don't mean that you should never go to restaurant. I am against restaurant business or nothing to do with it. I am just giving an example which is artificially constructed to make us feel impressed by the atmosphere. Nothing is natural there. So I have to run away from it, shun away from it. So tasting is the deprivation of receiving the prophetic message. But he who shall scoop up but a single handful is forgiven. No, now come on, all time is up. Killing me. Come on, we have to go into details. Handful is forgiven, but a single handful is forgiven. Single handful is forgiven. What does it mean? Just to see how it is artificial. Let me see what these people are expecting from it. Is it really worth it? Let me experience it. Now, I think my intention was to finish the Dawood story today, but for me, now it is impossible. It is 10 minutes after the deadline. So what shall we do? Let's go into this. A single handful is forgiven. How it reflects in our real life conditions, living conditions here now, for me and for you. Let's do that next week. Don't hurry, because I shouldn't hurry, because to get the juice of the verse, so that we will experience how the Quran speaks in an allegorical way, so that we can get the guidelines from it, apply it to any kind of life living conditions for any society. Everybody, I believe, every man in the world is in this situation. The artificial needs have already imposed on us, and we are tested with it. It means we are given the opportunity to educate ourselves, to refrain ourselves from becoming away our homeland. Homeland, it means connection with God, recognition of God, awareness of God's presence in our life. And then the society will present us, and these are necessary things, you have to have it. And we will say, if I taste it, I will be not following the prophetic mission. It means I am following a life understanding, philosophy of life, which goes against my nature and which drives me away from my homeland. That is beautiful. But a single handful is forgiven. Let's talk about it next week, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wahum and alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin bi hurmati sirri surati al-Fatiha. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. These are interesting.